Ohio State trying to yank two of the top players out of Michigan. ROCCO Spindler, also a Garrett Dellinger. Spindler's the second-rated offensive guard and third-rated player in Michigan, top 50 player in the country, according to 247. Of course, the lists are out for various guys. They say, here's my top 3, here's my top 5. I heard about a player the other day announcing it like a top 32, something like that. So that provides a lot of insight. So, Steve, we've got a couple players out of Michigan that may be Buckeyes.
Yeah, pretty amazing. One high school, Clarkston, Michigan, has a pair of guys who are the national top 100. ROCCO Spindler, an offensive guard, 6'4", 315 pounds. He is ranked number 44 in the composite overall, number 2 offensive guard in the country. And he's one of them. Now, a lot of the crystal ball predictions on our site have either Notre Dame or Michigan as the teams to beat for him. So I guess that would be one where Ohio State's kind of fighting uphill. And the other one's Garrett Dellinger, also from Clarkston, Michigan, 6'5", 280-pound offensive tackle. He is ranked number 76 nationally, the number 12 offensive tackle. And most of the crystal balls on him say LSU. So, again, early in the process, the guys can't sign for another 6 months. And, again, the whole recruiting calendar, in some regards, is going to shape some of these decisions because there could be no on-campus visits at this point until July 31st, and the guys will begin practice on August 1st, the high school kids, most places. So there really isn't a window for kids to make college visits unless they have a day or two off from their high school team or can come to a game. And even then, will they be allowed to attend games? We don't know. I mean, it's such an uncertain time. And all the coaches can do is recruit these guys through social media, through Zoom calls and those type things. And to me, I just think that puts you at a disadvantage the farther away somebody is from your campus. So, those guys are both in Michigan, which doesn't seem like it's that far away, 3 or 4 hours, but I'm sure Ohio State's not a place that either of them has spent a ton of time yet either. And I think it's important if and when those days come that they can get those guys in for visits, and hopefully during some game weekends, colleges will be able to entertain at least a few prospects, maybe not the 30 to 40 that you see in a lot of games. Maybe they'll whittle that number down to 15 or 20, and the coaches will have to make tough decisions. Who knows? But to me, I think that's an important part of this process. These guys, both from Michigan. Interesting that Spindler does have Michigan firmly in his thoughts, along with Notre Dame and Ohio State. Dellinger, as I said, looking primarily at LSU, but again, early in the process. And will he find somewhere else that kind of excites him between now and signing day?
Before we jump to Tony and then Kevin's take, I love the tenacity out of Paniro 5 Piru. The Wolves here. Let's go, Michigan. Go Blue. This is our show. Paniro 5. I love that you're here every week touting Michigan football right in enemy territory. The Buckeyes be damned. I'm going to be here, and I'm going to talk Michigan football. It's good stuff. Tony.
Yeah, the state of Michigan is pretty loaded with offensive linemen in this class. I don't know how many they're going to get, but they've got a couple of commitments and maybe another one coming with Spindler. I don't know that Ohio State will get too far in with these guys. Missing out on J.C. Latham, the offensive tackle out of IMG, if he's about to commit to Alabama, is kind of a blow. So they're going to have to figure out how to fix that, how to scramble out of that. And maybe that will change once the official visits start back up, if they start back up. But I think a lot of people had him as being in this class, and now that he's probably going somewhere else, they've got to figure out what their plan B and plan C was, because I think a lot of maybe all of the eggs were in that basket. So they'll have to, and I don't know that either of these guys would fix that or be terribly possible as Steve already said, the crystal balls are pointing in too many different directions, and none of them are aimed towards Columbus. But it's when at least Michigan, the university is able to keep some of these kids in state from going elsewhere, and that's been a problem for Jim Harbaugh for a while. They're not keeping their best in state, and maybe even now with the running back Donovan Edwards, because other schools are landing their running backs, it almost seems like he's going to fall into their lap, and that's what Michigan needs.
Yeah, looking at the two Michigan kids, you never say never. Where things stand right now, I definitely don't have either future casted to Ohio State. Another target out there is Tristan Lee, the offensive tackle out of Fairfax, Virginia. He's 100% future casted to Clemson in our network, but Ohio State's certainly going to take some swings there. So, I mean, you just don't know. But, getting back to the J.C. Latham situation, Ohio State certainly benefited in a lot of instances from things being shut down and players just being able to kind of focus on the conversations they're having with the coaches and the Zoom calls and whatnot, and was able to close on some kids earlier. I think that if campuses weren't closed and J.C. Latham were able to make the scheduled visits, that he probably would be a member of the Ohio State recruiting class. Now, would he have ended up signing? You never know at that point. But I think that's one that kind of cost him at that point. And with Jagger Burton also looking like he probably will go elsewhere, and I'm not saying that's definitive, but with that looking more and more like a possibility, they're going to have to re-scramble a little bit if they're going to add one to this class.